Oh, hey, you survived another day. Here we are, 6 feet above the ground. It's a beautiful day to be cooking under quarantine. Welcome, I'm your host, the Quarantine Contessa, and today we've got a couple fun things for you. For our Doomsday Cocktail, we're going to do the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, and then we are going to do some quesadillas for our main course meltdown. And these are Kung powder keg quesadillas, so a little bit different than you're used to seeing. And let's get started. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to shake up this Four Horsemen cocktail. And it is pretty spirituous. As you can see, we got the 4 ingredients here. That's really all that goes into this. And I've never had one of these before, but I'm not super excited. So the first step is you would want to put in bourbon. So I'm going to do 1.5 ounces of our bourbon here. That is traditionally Bim Jeem, but we here under quarantine have a little bit lower budget, so our friend Evan is going to do great here. This traditionally would be our friend Jose, but Kirkland Special works great. This would be our friend John Walker, but we've got some McClelland's single malt, which is actually a little bit of a step up in my opinion. We'll see how this comes together. And then we've got some Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey that we're going to put in here and shake it until it's good. I don't know how much shaking that's going to take, but based on the fact that this is all booze, I'm going to say it's going to need to shake for a long time. Enough to get a good jingle on the bingo rings. I assume this is going to have to be served over ice. At least I hope that's the case, because, like I said, there's a lot of booze in this. This is a highball with some repute. At least I wish it was a highball, but I mean, having something mixed with it, but it doesn't. All right, I'm gonna let that sit for a second and put some Cuberinos in this bad boy, and we're gonna pour it and give it a little taste. All right. The color's not bad. Vibing it a little bit. Vibing. All right. Let's see how this goes. Plague. Picking that up. Hint of pestilence. Oh yeah, it's all there. And by all there, I mean all I can taste is tequila. This just tastes like the worst tequila I've ever had in my life. But hey, it's the apocalypse, so we're gonna drink it. Don't eat it, eat it. Ooh. Okay, so on to our main course meltdown. Some leftover Kung Pao chicken, which we are going to use as the base for our quesadilla. Now, I think this is going to turn out really great. And if it doesn't, who cares? So I'm just going to toss this bad boy into a skillet. And, oh yeah, good spanking. You've been naughty, Kung Pao chicken. And let me get a little spoon here to make sure this is equally distributed. So all this is kind of cooking out here. So I was going to spend some time and make some tortilla de spinilla, and my co-host here is behind the camera. You don't see the pandemic woman. Has spent some time doing a little bit of mise en place, cutting up everything we need, but here in times of trouble, we got some frozen garlic naan that I think is going to work great for our quesadilla. And so while this is heating up, in the meantime, I'm going to make a kind of dipping sauce for our macroeconomic meltdown macaroni and cheese balls. These bad boys have been sitting in the freezer for a bit. Don't have a lot of hope, but it's cheese and heat. What could go wrong? Let's find out. This cocktail is indubitably awful. So there is actually a version of this called the Four Horsemen in a Boat, which requires a little bit of a Grand Marnier. So I'm going to use that. We don't have Grand Marnier, but we have a bootleg version because we're currently filming from the bootleg bunker. And hopefully this will make this less awful. But again, who said the apocalypse was going to be fun? All right, do a little stir around. And you know what? The boat adds a lot. Okay, so let us put together this little sauce. So for a little mac and cheese bites here, I'd like to make a fun little dipping sauce. So we're gonna get some mayonnaise in here, some Parmesan cheese, and a bit of some garlic powder, and some bacon bits. Ho ho! And some relish, and some horseradish. And you say to yourself, wow, this is the most complicated mac and cheese bite sauce I've ever heard of. You're right. Because all the flavors, all the time. And that's what we do here. A little bit of sriracha in there, a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of a fork. And here our gunpowder quesadilla filling really taking off here. So I'm going to turn down the heat on that bad boy a little bit. Make sure you don't get anything too burned, because after all, we can't get too burned. We've got to burn up in the nuclear holocaust, which is going to be a beautiful thing. Okay, this is looking nice and stirred, almost to perfection. Let's take another tasting now. This has gotten more time to linger. You know, it kind of reminds me of a Cadillac margarita. The Cadillac had been left out for 20 years to rust and just neglected, more than neglected, abused while it was just left to rot. A once beautiful thing becomes interminably abused. Do some olive oil spray here on our dear friend air fryer. Love this guy. One thing they don't tell you about the nuclear apocalypse is that the air will be so hot it will literally fry you. So we're going to get a nice view of that with our mac and cheese bites here. A little bit of a nice prelude. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, we're lining these bad boys up in here. See how we're exercising social distancing? Very important. You don't want these guys to get too close. They could transmit some flavors, which would be BAD bad. And I think we're gonna put a little bit of cheese on these guys. A little cheese and sauce, spice them up. And I said the pandemic woman has provided some nice chopping action for these little guys. I'm putting a little piece of cheese on top of each one, and this is going to make it, I think, a little bit of an elevated dish as opposed to your traditional fried mac and cheese bite. And that's what we try to do here. We try to take all that garbage, get rid of it, and prepare yourself for the ascension to a different plane of existence. Hopefully not through starvation, but as I said, you know, we've got a limited amount of food here, and that's what we're doing. As the rations get shorter, the combinations are going to get weirder. So I'm gonna put this bad boy on for, let's say 15 minutes, but first. Okay, so got our smoked paprika and our chipotle chili peppers, which is gonna be a nice smoke on two ends for this. Because like they say, smoke if you got 'em. And we do have mac and cheese bites, which I assume which is the course is all about. Right? Alright. Just coating the top of these bad boys. The cheese is very precarious, but I'm not entirely worried because the cheese is going to indubitably melt off, and that's okay. Because these are our macroeconomic meltdown macaroni and cheese bites. Air fryers are a stupendous thing. I'm going to put it onto French fry mode. Because why not? Alright, stir our Kung Pao mixture here. It's starting to get nice and warm and fragrant. Very, very enticing. Look at that. That's going to make a great quesadilla filling. So what we're going to do, I'm going to turn our oven on about 350 and start prepping. Start prepping them dillas. Love that crunching metal sound. It's like a building falling down. Beautiful. Another tasting note. Actually, the scotch is coming through a little bit more now, which I like as a scotch fan. A little bit more flavor. Okay, so we are going to start constructing our Kung Powder Keg quesadillas. So I'm going to put some cheese onto this bad boy. As we get it chunked up, we got some nice sharp cheddar here. Run a nice base coat. And hopefully this will be enough cheese to make this thing just exactly what we need it to be, which is delicious and weird. Just like yours truly, the quarantine contestant. I'm going to let that keep heating a little bit. We've got some chopped vegetables, which I think are going to add a nice crunch here. You know, in short supply here are the vegetables, so this is a bit of a luxurious dish. Things are getting a lot weirder when we start running out of fresh stuff because we're not going back. Not going back to the grocery store. Not trying to infect those poor old people and become dirty old disease vectors. So that's why we're staying indoors and we are cooking from home and not getting any more groceries. All right. So I think Kung Pao chicken is going to be a great addition here. You can see you got a lot of spices, some nuts in here, and some rice. It's like a quesadilla from China. Hopefully it doesn't have any bat in it. Because we know how that all turned out, right? But don't go batty. We're here to help. We're to provide some common cooking and a nice environment to keep your mind off the world, which has gone a little bit of snake eats Batty. Or Batty eats Snakey. I can't remember how it happened. All right. Just ladling this on. I think we might try to employ perhaps a panini press in here. So we've got a lot of volume here, and a lot more than we need. And leftovers are not what we need. All right, so we've got our little panini press on top of our Kung Powder Keg, non-quesadillas. They are technically quesadillas, but I'm gonna toss her into a low heat oven. Pretty much all the ingredients are pretty well cooked. you know, I was looking at our little dipping sauce over here, and for our mac and cheese bites, I thought adding a little bit of salsa might put some cohesion in there. Just kind of connect these two cultures, because we're all in this together. All cultures are suffering together. People of the world, this ain't great. But we got a little bit of time left on our mac and cheese bites. Looking forward to seeing how those go. We'll give a little bit of a taste test. I will say this cocktail has turned from a real bummer into actually something I would drink again. And I can really taste war now. You know, that horseman is really just coming at, pony up front, charging towards me, straight ahead. Loving it. Loving it. Alright, so for our final course here, we've got dessert all hope, ye who enter. And we got a little couple pieces of chocolate. So that's what we got. It's gonna be for dessert. It's dark chocolate. We'll see what happens. But I think more importantly, our macroeconomic meltdown mac and cheese balls look like they're about ready to be harvested. All right, so we're gonna pull these beautiful golden brown crisp boys and plate them with hopefully me not burning my hands off. But again, who needs future? Who needs fingers in the future, right? We've got robots. And the robots have us. Because they secretly want what's best for us. That's why they're here. That's why they're taking over. I, for one, believe in our robot overlords. Now, there is some good GBD crispy cheese crisps that I'm gonna just donate all over these guys. Oh, phenomenal. And don't beep at me. See, that's the kind of talk that can get a robot mad at you. And that can get you killed in the post-apocalypse. So remember, robots are your friends, even when they're making your food. Stay safe, stay kind. So we're gonna do a bit of a drizzle of our sauce onto these mac and cheese bites. Give them something a little bit of to cool down on. And hopefully this won't make them laser beam hot inside. But that is a falsehood, because we all know that inside all of us is a hot fire of rage. Quite like pizza rolls. To recap, we started out with our Doomsday Clocktail, the Four Horsemen, which was impossible to drink, so we turned it to Four Horsemen in a Boat, which is quite tasty, might I say. Worth a look. Then our appetizer, apocalyptic appetizer, turned out to be our macroeconomic meltdown mac and cheese balls, which I think we might do a little bit of a tasting review now. Our Kung powder keg quesadillas are still in the oven, so we'll give this a little bit of a go. You got this nice sauce on here, got this beautiful crispy cheese, and some chipotle and paprika. I think this is gonna come out okay. Yeah, I think you can die now. Yeah, I think it doesn't get any better from here. That is just supreme and superb. A little bit more sauce on this. Oh, yikes! Maybe a little bit of this leftover lettuce. Oh, good Lord, on the gourd. Oh, geez, you surprised me there. Well, I'm gonna have a little bit more of this mac and cheese ball. Put a little more lettuce on it. It's got just the right crunch, flavors, textures, everything. Everything you need. Now, to just kind of run over exactly what we're doing here, is that we are cooking nothing new. We're just gonna run through all of our stock of supplies, all of our food, and it's gonna come in different combinations, different orientations. So, things might seem tame now, but they're gonna get real later, because this is Cooking Under Quarantine with your quarantine Contessa. Let's give this a little nip. This is our non-quesadilla here. Let me tell you, this does not look like a non-starter. Looks gorgeous, smells gorgeous. That garlic's coming through. We've got all this spice, got a lot of cheese on there. I think we might be able to combine this with some of the cheesy flavors that we are experiencing with our mac and cheese bites. We're gonna make it a little bit cohesive here. I'm gonna put a little bit more traditional Mexican spicing in here. We got some cilantro, a little bit of adobo, a little bit of oregano, and some cumin, and a bit of the chipotle chili pepper. And I think we're gonna have our Chinese, Indian, Mexican fusion food ready. So I'm gonna plate up one of these bad boys. I'm going to cut it up like a pizza with our favorite unitasker, the pizza roller. I'm coming for you, pizza. That's like in a world where, you know, pizza is a type of person and there's a scary pizza murderer out there. You know what? It's a terrible tool. Forget about it. Let's slice this up, dole it out. Coronavirus will not stop us from eating some weird food. But that's how it all started, isn't it? All started with weird food. From wet market to your home. Here we are. Oh. Cheese is leaking out the side. I'm getting all the things I need to see here. Alright. We got a nice fusion of flavors here. A lot of Mexican spices coming together with a lot of these Chinese Kung Pao, fat space. Nice crisp from the cashews and the peanuts. They're in the Kung Pao. The garlic on the naan has come together in such a nice way. The cheese is totally foreign, but somehow integrates itself into this space. Beautiful. Multicultural. Amazing. If that doesn't taste like multicultural global pandemic, I don't know what does. Thanks again for hanging out, spending some time with us on Cooking Under Quarantine. We've appreciated your time. I, the Quarantine Quintessa, have loved having you here. The Pandemic Woman, thanks to you for taking the time and watching all this. Please join us tomorrow as we try to figure out how to make food out of what's left. And remember, it's the apocalypse. Eat it, don't eat it.